Hello and welcome to Big Orbit Games unboxing video of the new Magic the Gathering O for the Gatewatch. My name's Simon and I'm going to be doing a box opening today. So what I'm going to do is go through the 36 boosters which are in the box. I'm just going to open them up. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on any of the particular cards. I'm sure if you want to get an in-depth review of each of the cards, there are some much more better informed people than me out there. We're just going to have a look and see what we get in the packs and just see what we get out of the box. So start with the first pack. Like I said, I'm mostly going to flick through a lot of these, although I'm going to stop on some of the stuff that's interesting. For example, straight up is Waste, which is one of the new basic lands from the set. So this is effectively giving a name for colourless mana. Check out the rules for it because it is interesting and it's something worth and useful for knowing for future reference for Magic. These don't appear in the land slot in boosters, they appear as a common. They're twice as common as a common, if that makes some sense to you. So there's a chance of pulling these in every booster pack, and for limited and sealed, so drafting and stuff as well, you're only allowed to use wastes that you've pulled out of boosters. You can't just put any you own, unlike other basics, into your deck. So something worth noting if you are pulling, trying to build a deck which uses some of the new colourless wastes cards. Again, I'm going to pull just the handful of interesting ones I see. So Natural State's quite cool. New instant, green instant, 1 green, destroy target artifact or enchantment with convert mana cost 3 or less. This is really good and hits a lot of enchantments and artifacts that are being used both in standard and arguably to some degree modern as well, but very good, good new instant for removal for green. Burnsall, nice reprint there. Wall of Resurgence, Bath, Sea Guardian. We had Gladeheart Cavalry as our rare for the pack. No foil, just a swamp and a plant token. So Gladeheart Cavalry, this is new, so 7 mana to drop. It's 6/6, it's an Elf Knight, but when it enters the battlefield, supports 6. So supports one of the new mechanics. So put a 1/1 target, 1/1 counter on each of up to 6 other target creatures. So this is very good in a big elf swarming deck. And whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it dies, gain 2 life. So even if your opponents then remove those creatures, you're getting something from it. So, always useful. Over the Gatewatch, by the way, second in the Battle for Zendikar. This is part of the new 2 sets per block paradigm that Wizards are going with from now on. So they should be going through more planes, more locations, more often, with Shadows over Innistrad being the next set. We have Corrupted Crossroads as our next rare. So land adds a waste to your mana pool or tap, pay a life to add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. However, you can only spend it to cast spells with Devoid. If you remember Devoid from Battle for Zendikar, it's continued in this set as well. The spells, creatures, etc. will have a coloured mana cost but technically count as colourless. So this is continuing the story of the Eldrazi on Zendikar. Back into focus camera, sorry. Negate there, by the way, nice reprint. So in here we have a Sphinx of the Final Word, so it's our first mythic we've pulled. So Sphinx of the Final Word is a Sphinx, shock horror, 7 mana to play, 5/5. It can't be countered, so good in control matchups. Flying and hexproof and instant sorcery spells you control can't be countered by spells or abilities. Very good drop for blue spells to help keep your spells flying about unimpeded. And because it's hexproof, it's going to be very difficult for your opponent to get rid of it. Which sounds a bit mean, but it is what it is. So we got Dimensional Infiltrator in this pack. So this is Devoid with Flash and Flying. So as I said earlier, Devoid is this card technically has no colour even though it has a blue in the cost. And then you can pay 1 and a waste for a target opponent to exile the top card of their library, and if it was a land, you can return this to its owner's hand. So I'm sure there's some useful abusing shenanigans you can do there with that, with bouncing it back to hand. So flick through this one. So Warping Whale, it's cool. And then we've got a Goblin Dark Dwellers. So this has Menace, so it can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. It's another mythic, it's another rare, not a mythic, sorry. I don't know why I thought it was a mythic. 5 mana, 4/4 with Menace, and when it enters the field you can cast target instant or sorcery with convert mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its cost. And if it will be put into the graveyard, however, exile it instead. So you can't just keep abusing that spell over and over again. Useful for red burn decks, although it's a bit of an expensive drop. It does give you a creature on the board as well. We've got Isolation Zone there. This is a slightly more expensive version of Oblivion Ring, good for limited environment though. An exile target creature or enchantment, so again it can hit multiple things, which is useful to have different targets. We have General Tazri, so this is a mythic. I can correctly say that now. So, legendary creature, it's a human ally, so allies were carried on through from Battle for Zendikar in the original Zendikar set. When it enters the field, search your library for an ally creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your library, and then for one of each mana colour, allied creatures you control get +X until the end of turn, where X is the number of colours among those creatures. So good if you are going to play a 5-colour ally deck. I can see that being used in Commander quite a bit for a nice ally-themed deck. Immolating Glare. That's a pretty cool one. Destroy target attacking creature. It's just a very typical white spell, but it's good to see it in here. Gift of Tusks is a bit of an unusual one. Until end of turn, target creature loses all abilities and becomes a green elephant with base power 3/3. You could use that defensively, but more likely to use it offensively, seeing as you're in blue. Then we have Preston Service, and then we have Wandering Fumarole. So this is one of the new animating lands, so man lands as it's sometimes called. Enters tapped, it taps for a blue or a red, and then for 4 mana, until end of turn you can turn it into a 1/4 blue and red elemental creature with 0, switch this creature's power and toughness until end of turn. It's still a land though. So there is a cycle of animating lands in here. Hopefully we'll see some more of them by the end of today. We have another Gladeheart Cavalry. Oh, but we did get a foil in this one. We got a Pulse of Marasa. It's quite a nice common actually, this one. 3 mana, instant, return target creature or land card from a graveyard to its owner's hand, but you also gain 6 life. So this could be useful for getting sort of like one of your big bomb cards or something back in green. And you get a nice bit of extra 6 life. So moving on. Coon Flameseeker, this is cohort ability. Effectively you can tap an untapped ally you control and gain an ability. In this case, discard a card to draw a card. So a bit of looting, which is Red's thing. And we have a Stonehaven Outfitter. So sort of reminiscent of Stoneforge Mystic, in that the idea of the core being these artificers and all about the equipment. It's a 2/2 for 2. Equipped creatures you control get +1/+1, and whenever an equipped creature you control dies, you get to draw a card. So, good, because usually when you've equipped up a creature, your opponent starts targeting them and trying to kill them off, and at least you get a card out of it as a result. Now we have another mythic, so this is Kaltus, Traitor of Get. So, legendary creature, Vampire Warrior, it's a 3/4 for 4. With a lifelink, and if a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, instead exile that card and put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield, which is pretty sweet. And then for 3 mana, sacrifice another vampire or zombie, put 2 1/1 counters on Kaltus. So immediately you can see where this is going. So let's keep moving through these packs. We've got an Oath of Gideon. Oh, we've got a foil there as well, so let's quickly show you the foil before we go for the Oath. So there's Gideon's Cloak. So one of the equipments. Looks quite pretty in foil. You can see the reflection of the plates there. And then for the Oath, we've got the Oath of Gideon. So when it enters, it's 3 mana, and when it enters the battlefield, put 2 1/1 white core allied tokens onto the battlefield. Very good. And each planeswalker you control enters the battlefield with an additional loyalty counter on it. So interesting, it's got 2 different things there. Not only do you get some bodies on the field, but it also boosts Planeswalker. So Super Friends decks might quite like having that, because you get some little chump blockers, and you also get to add additional loyalty counters. Ooh, so first of all, to show you the foil. So we got a foil forest there. That's really pretty. The full arts in foil are very pretty. And then the rare for the pack was a Captain's Claw. This is a very, very good equipment card from the set. Only 2 mana to play, so relatively cheap with an equip cost of 1. Equipped creature gets +1 attack, which isn't very exciting, but whenever it attacks, you can put a 1/1 white core allied creature token onto the battlefield tapped and attacking with it. So with the older allies, that'd be really good because a lot of them have when an ally enters the field trigger. But anything that generates an additional body whilst attacking is always a bonus. So Cat's Claws is very cool. I really like that. I think it's going to find a way into one of my tribal decks for my allies. Bailoff Pup, quite cute. We have a Seagate Wreckage. This is part of the story of defending the Seagate. Worth reading the story if you're interested in sort of the fluff. Tap adds a waste to your mana pool, and then 2 and a waste, tap, draw a card, activate this if you have no cards in hand though. So again, it's nothing amazing in that, but if you're trying to play wastes anyway in your deck, then well, why not? We have an Endbringer. So this is one of the Eldrazi, finally get to see one. So this one is a 6 mana 5/5. Untap Endbringer during each other player's untap step, and it can tap to deal 1 damage to target creature or player, so pinging 1. Pay a waste and tap, target creature can't attack or block this turn, or pay 2 wastes, tap, draw a card. So quite a bit of versatility there. It's 6 to play originally. But because it untaps each untap step, you can actually get a lot of mileage out of that one. So, Spatial Contortion, one of the cards which uses the waste symbol, so do keep that in mind when picking for things like limited. So foil here, which is the Grasp of Darkness. So this is a reprint, 2 black, target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn. And I particularly wanted to highlight this card because if you look at the artwork very quickly, it looks like that Eldrazi is wearing a sombrero. And technically it's his arms crossed across his head, but if you're just looking at it casually, totally looks like a sombrero. And then we have Vile Redeemer. So another Eldrazi, rare, 3 mana, 3/3, devoid, counts as colourless. So it's flash, and when it enters, you can pay a waste. If you do, put a 1/1 colourless Eldrazi Scion creature token onto the battlefield for each non-token creature that died under your control this turn, and the tokens have sacrificed this creature to add a waste to your mana pool. Good if your opponent's just wrapped the board and you want to, get some presence going again. So more waste. Zip through space. Thought Harvester Troll, lots of harvesting. We have an Eldrazi Displacer here. So it's 3 mana, 3/3, devoid again, and then 2 and a waste to exile another target creature, then return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. That could be used offensively and defensively. Use it offensively to deny one of your opponent's creatures that's attacking or being targeted with an enchantment, or use it defensively on your own creatures if they're being targeted by, say, a kill spell. Blink them in and out, they're saved. Yay! So we have Jorian Ruin Diver. I can see this lady being in some, being in some commander decks here. So it's a Merfolk Wizard, 2/3 for 3, and whenever you cast your second spell each turn, draw a card. Not a massive advantage, but extra draw is always a positive. And it's only 3 mana to cast, so it's nice and easy to get out early game. Cultivated Drone, Comparative Analysis. So this has got Surge, one of the mechanics for the set. So target player would draw 2 cards. Surge means it's got a reduced mana cost if you've played a second spell this turn, or if your teammate has cast another spell this turn. Some of the set is focused on the multiplayer format, so Two-Headed Giant in particular, because that's where you'd have teammates. So there's cards like Comparative Analysis, which give you some extra bonuses for playing together. We also have a Stormchaser Mage, which I want to show. So this is an uncommon. I can see this getting standard play, I think. So it's only 2 mana, blue and red, 1/3. Flying and haste and prowess. Prowess being a very good mechanic. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. I can see this being played in standard or definitely in limited. It's a very good pick to have just because it's a very good creature. And then our rare for the pack was a Dimensional Infiltrator. So it's a 2/1 for 2 with Devoid, Flash, and Flying. And pay 1 and a waste. Target opponent exiles the top card of their library. If it's a land card, you may return this to its owner's hand. Interesting shenanigans. I'm sure you can perform there with that. So on to the next one. So flicking through. Flaying Tendrils, very cool card. I think black got some of the best cards in this set. I think green lost out the most and black got some of the best. So 3 mana, Devoid, sorcery, all creatures get -2/-2 till end of turn, and if a creature would die this turn, exile it instead. So it's a very good way of wrathing a weenie board. We have Oath of Jace. This is one of the other oaths. There's 4 in total in the set. There's no black planeswalker in this set, so we don't have one in black. It's a legendary enchantment, 3 mana. When it enters the field, draw 3 cards, then discard 2. And at the beginning of your upkeep, scry X, where X is the number of planeswalkers you control. So it's a quick drink of water. Much better. So as you can see, the idea of the oaths is they give you a benefit when they enter play. But then after that, they buff or interact with planeswalkers. Because the idea is it's all the planeswalkers coming together to form this oath. So Deceiver of Form, Eldrazi here. So 7 mana for an 8/8, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, reveal the top card of your library. If a creature card is revealed this way, you may have creatures you control other than Deceiver of Form become copies of that card until end of turn. You can put that card on the bottom of your library. Oof, that can be very, very good. If you've got, say, loads of Eldrazi Scions out, you can then, and then like you reveal the top card as a big beastie, like a big 6/6 or something. That can be very, very good. Complete another game changer there. Fall of the Titans. So this is another one with Surge. So it's XX and red. However, Surge is just X and red, so definitely not playing this first in a turn. And it deals X damage to each of up to 2 target creatures and or players. So again, it's got the Surge in there and also the ability to hit different players. So, nice late game burn spell for red because you can just pump all the mana into it. So flicking through here, we have a Matter Reshaper. So 3 mana for a 3/2. When it dies, reveal the top card of your library. You may put that card onto the battlefield if it's a permanent card with convert mana cost 3 or less. Otherwise, put that card into your hand. So either way, you get to draw it. Either way, you're gaining the card, be it onto the field or into your hand. It does have to die to get that benefit, which is a shame, but definitely a cool card to have in play. Let's see what else we get then. So Mina and Den, Wildborn. So this is harkening back a bit to Theros here. So this is with the artwork anyway. So this is an elf ally. It's 4 mana for a 4/4. You may play an additional land on each of your turns, and for a red and a green, return a land you control to its owner's hand to give target creature trample until end of turn. It's interesting being able to play the additional land. I mean, you're already at 4, but the additional land is always a welcome thing to do because, well, the more money you have, the more you can do in a game. Again, my play style at the moment with Magic is primarily Commander, and I can see that being a very fun card to have as Commander. We have a Sister of Skulls. So, Devoid, 4 mana for a 4/3. And whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a 1/1 colourless Eldrazi Scion token onto the battlefield. So, doing what black does, but rewarding you for dying. So, we haven't had too many mythics yet. I'd like to see some more. We've got an Eldrazi Obligator next though. 3 mana for a 3/1. It has Devoid. When you cast it, you can pay 1 and a waste to gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature and it gains haste, and it also has haste itself. So this is a good swinger. Take control of their big creature and use it to swing through their weakened defences. So let's go through. Ooh, our first Planeswalker. We've pulled a Chandra. Very nice. So Chandra usually gets sort of slightly dud Planeswalker cards, sadly. In this instance, she's a 6 mana with 4 loyalty. +1 is to put 2 3/1 red elemental creature tokens with haste onto the battlefield and then exile them at the beginning of the next end step. For 0, discard all the cards in your hand and draw that many cards +1. Or -X, Chandra Flamecaller deals X damage to each creature. So the -X probably isn't great, her ultimate, but the +1 and 0 are both very, very good abilities. Again, I'm sure someone can explain in great detail, but I really like the new Chandra. It's a bit steep at 6 mana, but I think she's really cool Planeswalker to have. We then have another Vile Redeemer. And let's keep going through. What's the Mage? Got a Remorseless Punishment. Sorry, the foil was distracting me because it's pretty. Draw Isle Avenger. So it's only a common. It's a common Sphinx actually, which is something you don't see very often. With Surge, flying 3/3. So only really worth playing for the Surge ability because it reduces that cost down by 2. But the artwork just looks nice in foil. Then we have a Remorseless Punishment as the rare for the pack. So 5 mana sorcery. Target opponent loses 5 life, and unless that player discards 2 cards or sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Unless that player discards 2 cards or sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, and then repeat the process once. So what that means is you're casting this twice effectively. They have to choose to take the 5 life, or discard 2 or sacrifice a creature or planeswalker, and then they have to make that choice again. It's always fun when black gets the make a painful choice cards, just because no matter which way you look at it, really, they don't win. It's just which is the lesser of 2 evils. Oh, we have another Hissing Quagmire, which is a nice Family Guy reference, which is another one of the animating lands or man lands. Enters tapped, taps for a black or a green, and for 3 mana, it becomes a 2/2 black and green elemental creature with Death Touch until end of turn. So you can use it to at least trade away with something big they've got. Sort of use it in a defensive manner, help keep your health nice and your life total nice and high. So we have a Deep Fathom Skulker here. So 6 mana for a 4/4. Devoid technically, and whenever colours technically, because Devoid, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card, which is good. And then 3 in a waste, target creature can't be blocked this turn. I wonder which creature you might decide to make unblockable this turn. And then we also got a Hedron Crawler, which is a cute little construct, and we got it in foil. So that's just 2 mana for a waste mana dork. It. We got a Call the Gatewatch, and we got another foil as well. We're getting so many foils. I'm going to go through the foil first. We got the Weapons Trainer. So 2 mana, red and a white for a 3/2. Other creatures you control get +1 +1 power as long as you control an equipment. Which, I'm sure if you built the deck to satisfy it, that'd be fantastic. And then for the rare, we got Call the Gatewatch. 3 mana sorcery. Search your library for a Planeswalker card, reveal it and put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. So again, this is going to Gideon's sort of focus on having Planeswalker allies and forming this oath to defend. And it's cool to see Magic Wizards printing a card that specifically chooses out a Planeswalker. They are putting quite a bit more focus on them now, so I just want to show Bailoff Pup because it's adorable. So it's only an uncommon creature, 2 mana for 3/1. It gets trample as long as it has a 1/1 counter on it. It's just the artwork's adorable. And then the rare for the pack was Needle Spires. So another one of the man lands. So 2 and red and a white, and it becomes a 2/1 red and white elemental creature with double strike until end of turn. So you initially see the 2/1 and think, ugh, 4 mana, that's not good. But if it goes unopposed, it's swinging in for 4 really. So sweep away. We have an Eldrazi Mimic. So this is 2 mana for a 2/1, and whenever another colourless creature enters the battlefield under your control, you can change Eldrazi Mimic's base power and toughness for that creature's power and toughness until end of turn. So good if you're going to drop one of the big Eldrazi down, you can just copy it and get that nice power buff. Get a nice power and toughness buff from that for the turn. Oh, Seer's Lantern. I think you keep missing this one. 3 mana artifact, tap, add a waste, or pay 2 tap and scry 1. Again, good little artifact for just generating waste mana, and the scry's a nice little touch on the end as well. We have a Bearer of Silence. So this is 2 mana for 2/1, devoid. And when you cast, you can pay 1 and a waste to target. So target opponent sacrifices a creature, and flying, and it can't block. So, which is useful because hopefully you've killed off the creature. So penultimate pack here. Got wastes. So Overwhelming Denial. So 4 mana for a blue instant. It has Surge for 2 instead, and Overwhelming Denial can't be countered by spells or abilities, and it counters target spell. A counter that can't be countered. Seems fair to me. So a final pack. Let's see what we get. Crush of Tentacles. Ooh, and a foil Dread Defiler. That was actually quite a nice pack then. So we've already seen Dread Defiler. Sorry, we haven't seen Dread Defiler yet. So 7 mana, 6/8 devoid, 3 and a waste to exile creature card from your graveyard. Target opponent loses life equal to the exiled card's power. And there we go. Just see it in a nice foil. And then our last rare pull, which was a mythic, which is Crush of Tentacles. 4 and 2 blue, or Surge for 3 and 2 blue. Sorcery, return all non-land opponents to their owner's hand. If Crush of Tentacles Surge cost was paid, put an 8/8 blue octopus creature token onto the battlefield. So yeah, definitely want to be doing this for its Surge to get that big, tasty 8/8 token. So I'm just going to quickly split this into the mythics and rares, just so we can just see what the split down the box was like. It's always interesting to see how many mythics and how many rares and stuff you get out of the box. So that's 3 mythics so far. 4, 5. So there we go. So we got 5 mythics in total. Not too bad spread on terms of colours and stuff. It'd have been, let's be honest, it'd been nice to have seen a Kozilek himself, but hey, can't be choosers there. And then obviously all the rest as rares. We got a couple of the Oaths in there, a couple of the Animating Lands. So again, a good spread of different cards. And then we got some fun foils in there as well. Foils, because foils are so random, you know, you can never be sure what you're getting in those packs. But I think we got a nice. I'm particularly happy with getting the Forest, really. But yeah, there we go. That is all the cards from the Oath of the Gatewatch box opening. You see there's lots of commons and uncommons here. Plenty to go through. We've got quite a few planes in there as well, which is useful if you haven't picked up something like one of the fat packs. It's good to have those wastes ready to do some deck building. And this is a small set, so there wasn't the hugest choices of cards in here, but overall the set's quite a good one. There's some interesting mechanics. The Surge is focusing so much on having something that targets multiplayer, particularly two-headed giant to be precise, is an interesting choice by Wizards. But I suppose, you know, at some point they want to support these formats, so it's there. It is what it is. So yeah, I mean, this is the start of seeing these new 2-set per block paradigm that's coming into play. I think the overall power level of Oath is a lot higher than what you'd normally see in a second set, simply because there isn't a third set to carry on supporting it. So there's a lot more powerful cards in here than you'd normally get in a small set. The limited format for it is quite fun. The drafting environment, depending on how the table goes, though, it could be a bit of a bloodfest just because of the wastes. If you have got cards that require them, it almost feels like a waste having to pick a waste. Haha, terrible pun. Sorry. It feels like a waste having to pick a waste as one of your picks just to enable you to play a card, considering it's just a land. But that's the concession you have to make if those are the kinds of cards you want to play. So yeah, there we go. That is everything we've got in the box. So remember, everything you've seen here today can be bought and sold on our website, bigorbitcards.co.uk. Remember to like and subscribe. Also doing an Oath of the Gatewatch Fat Pack unboxing, so you can check that out. And apart from that, well, that's everything from me, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.